Fox Sports.
We are Fox Sports. We are NC.
Last night, the Royals beat the Orioles in classic fashion. Their starting pitcher went 7 strong innings. He was backed up by excellent defense, both on the infield and in the outfield. And in a close game, the Royals got a big hit late to put the game away. The Royals go for the series tonight on Fox Sports Kansas City. Jeff Francis has had 2 rough starts against the Orioles this year, but as he prepares for tonight's game, he's coming off his best start of the year. It's Game 3 between the Royals and the Baltimore Orioles. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Kauffman Stadium with Royals Hall of Famer Frank White. I'm Ryan Lefevre. And the Royals have a winning record in the second half. Their starting pitching has improved, and the offense has begun to hit for power with Billy Butler flexing most of the muscle.
Well, Billy's off to a great start the second half. Billy's riding a 9-game hitting streak. He's hit in 15 of his last 16 games. And what's most impressive about Billy is that 5 home runs in his last 8 games.
And really, he's surpassed some of his power numbers in the second half, and we're just a few weeks into that compared to his entire first half. 6 home runs, 38 RBIs. That was in 91 games of the first half. And now, just a few weeks into the second half, he already has 7 home runs, and he's driven in 20. And a lot of that has to do, Frank, with a little mechanical adjustment.
And sometimes that's what it takes to get you to drive the ball. You can see here Billy's hands used to be right where the arrow is, and now he's raised his hands above the ball. So what that does, it lets him come down through the ball better, create backspin, and that gets carry on the ball.
And this is the carry on the 3-0 pitch from Jeremy Guthrie last night, which resulted in a 3-run home run. Oftentimes we talk about the players and what they do in the community, but the umpiring crew for this series made an impact in the Kansas City community earlier today. Joel Goldberg will tell us about their visit to Children's Mercy Hospital when we come back. When you play, students win. And before the game tonight, Joel Goldberg was out in the community with tonight's umpiring crew. Let's hear more about that. Here's Joel.
Yeah, Ryan, we don't hear that too often. You don't see too much from the umpires except for when they're here. But Jeff Kellogg, Eric Cooper, Mark Carlson, and Tim Timmons made a trip this morning to Children's Mercy Hospital, and we were allowed to tag along to that. And this is a program through Umps Care Charities. And the boys in blue were over there putting some smiles on some faces and handing out stuffed animals from Build-A-Bear.
Umpires as a rule like to be anonymous anyway, so we're happy just to raise some cash, buy some bears, come out here, and putting a smile on a kid's face is the easiest call of all. So that's what we're about.
Well, this is the 59th of these events that have taken place since 2006 through Umps Care Charities. The 6th of 12 around Major League Baseball cities this season. So fortunate enough that one of those able to take place here in Kansas City. The umpires now on the field. So now the real task begins of making sure they get the calls right. The guys, I can tell you this much, they said half of the kids were baseball fans, half weren't, but there was no second guessing, just a lot of smiles from the kids and the umpires. Ryan?
All right, thank you, Joel. Good to see the umpires making an impact in the community, and we're grateful that it's here in Kansas City. On the field, last night Alex Gordon had 3 hits. He's now 10th in the league with a .305 batting average. And the last time the Royals faced Zach Britton, Alex took him deep. It's the Royals and the Orioles, and the first pitch is next. Stadium in high definition, brought to you by Time Warner Cable. Get no fee HD with digital TV from Time Warner Cable. Royals with Jeff Francis starting tonight are on the field, and let's take a look at the lineup that Francis will be facing tonight.
J.J. Hardy will be leading it off, Ryan. 18 home runs, leads all shortstops. Adam Jones is having a great year batting third. And you always have to look out for Guerrero and Mark Reynolds.
Jeff Francis coming off his best start of the year, 8 scoreless innings Friday at Cleveland. He is 4-11, a strike thrower, So he gives up quite a few hits, 4th most hits allowed in the American League, but he has the 3rd best walks to 9 innings pitched ratio in the American League. So the Orioles can expect to see strikes from him. And Jeff Francis, who has struggled to get run support all year, got that and then some in that win against Cleveland. Royals giving him 12 runs and came up with 6 strikeouts for the 3rd time in his last 4 starts. And the Orioles really have hit him well the first 2 times he has faced them, with 10 earned runs in 11 2/3 innings. Francis has really been hurt by the long ball against Baltimore. And now we'll take a look at the Royals defensively behind Jeff Francis.
Well, very, very impressive outfield with all the assists they have this year. Yamaica Navarro's get another start at 3rd base. And Manny Pena got his first major league hit, caught his first major league win, and will be catching Jeff Francis tonight.
And he made an impact right away in the top of the 1st inning last night. He threw out a runner. So the catcher, known for his defense and his arm, showed that off right away, and now he receives a strike from Jeff Francis. One ball, 1 strike to J.J. Hardy, who was hitless in his first at-bat on Tuesday, making him 0 for his last 18. Ended up with 2 hits in that game, and then hitless last night. And now Pena takes care of his foul pop-up. 1 away. Now this is more like it. 85 degrees, 22 degrees cooler than the Tuesday night game, which was 107. Game started on time at 7:10, and the time and temp is brought to you by the parking spot. Easy to spot, easy to park. The parking spot at KCI. Nick Markakis lifts it to left field. A long run for Alex Gordon. He goes across the line for a foul ball catch. So 2 foul outs for the Orioles and 2 quick outs for Jeff Francis. In both of Jeff Francis' starts against the Orioles, he had leads early in the game, 4-0 in one game, 3-0 in the other. But as I mentioned, really hurt by home runs. It was Luke Scott who hit a 3-run home run against Jeff Francis here in early May. And then in Baltimore, it was Nolan Reimold who hit 2 home runs against him in late May. And the Orioles are 4th in the American League in home runs. They hit 2 on Tuesday. Adam Jones has 18 home runs, and he takes strike 1.
Adam Jones gets 1 more home run. That'll tie his all-time high of 19 set last year. But he's had a great July. I mean, he hit 320 in July, and he's off to a great start in August. You know, 385 over his last 10 games. So he's really heating up. And 1 home run, 5 RBI, and 4 stolen bases during that whole time. So he looks like he did year before last, this year.
When he went to the All-Star game in 2009. Still no balls, 2 strikes. Mariners gave up quite a bit when they traded Adam Jones for Eric Bedard, a deal with the Orioles. Jones was the Mariners' 1st-round pick back in 2003. And the Mariners trading Adam Jones, a young pitcher Chris Tillman, a reliever George Sherrill for Eric Bedard, who really didn't do much for Seattle. Melky Cabrera on the run, but it's over his glove up against the padding. And Jones with a turn around second, he'll hold with a 2-out double. Same thing he did last night, a 2-out double in the 1st inning, and eventually he came around to score.
Well, Ron, we talked a little bit about Melky's ankle and whether or not it's really feeling good to him. And you watch this ball off the bat of Adam Jones, and hanging curveball. Just doesn't look like he's running quite as well on this ball. And you can see where he goes. You can always tell. You see a little limp right there. It's just not quite that same burst of speed that he had prior to that injury at first base.
And it was his left ankle that he jammed and rolled going back into first base on a pickoff attempt. And then we thought he didn't look right with his swings from the left side of the plate last night.
Well, and I asked him today how he felt, but you're gonna get the old pro answer. You know, it feels great. You know, but you just have to watch a guy run, and what you used to seeing him do to this point in the season. That looked like he just had a little bit of problem going that direction.
Fouled away by Vladimir Guerrero. Two out of 8 in the first 2 games with a rare walk. He has a run scored and an RBI, and that RBI came against Luke Hochhaber in the first inning last night, and it followed an Adam Jones double. Good changeup. 0-2.
Well, Jeff, a pretty nice mix. You can see he's got that 3-finger grip, and the changeup stays on the outer half of the plate and goes down, and that's what he wants it to do, the right-handed hitter. And if Guerrero can swing at a ball and don't touch it somewhere, that's a pretty good pitch.
That is a foul ball, just barely. Still no balls, 2 strikes. So Francis continues to stay ahead of the hitters. And that was one of a few keys for him on Friday at Cleveland. He just stayed ahead of the Indians all night. The Indians were really struggling offensively, and Francis exploiting that. His season high for strikeouts is 6. He has done that 4 times, but he's done it 3 of his last 4 starts. One and 2 on Guerrero. Outside, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Fans wanted the call because it appeared that Francis hit Manny Piña's target, but according to Fox Tracks, it was well outside. Guerrero with 9 career at-bats against Jeff Francis and 4 hits. 2 of those hits are doubles. In the air to center field, and the ball carries on Melky Cabrera. Back he goes and runs it down in front of the track. The ball apparently is carrying to center field. Against left-hander Zach Britton.
Well, you got Alex Gordon leading off, having a good year. Billy Butler, 305 at home this year. It will be in the number 4 spot. You have Micah Navarro in number 6, and Manny Piña will be batting 9th.
And it's left-hander Zach Britton, who is making his 20th start, his 2nd start since being sent down to Double-A. And he's coming off 2 brutal starts. The Royals might think about being aggressive in this first inning. His last start, July 30th at the Yankees. Now this is a start. This is not pitching out of the bullpen. 1/3 of an inning, 6 earned runs. The start before that, 2/3 of an inning,
That was July 8th at Boston, and 7 earned runs. So off to a very good start, 5-2, 2.35 in his first 10. But he has slumped since then. Just 1 win in his last 13 starts.
And it happens to be against the Red Sox and the Yankees, two pretty tough teams. And when you hear about a guy who really feels like he's got good stuff but just really can't seem to make the adjustments and wonder why he's getting hit, a lot of times you look at, are you pitching ahead of hitters? That's number 1. And are you hitting your spots on both sides of the plate? Number 2. And we've heard that story over here a couple times. Good stuff, but no results. And there's another good example with Zach Britton. He's got good stuff, but when you pitch behind hitters, good stuff really doesn't matter at that point.
Alex with a 3-hit game last night. He's hit in 5 in a row and hitting at .305, which is 10th in the American League. Two more doubles last night, and that's 33 on the year, second most in the American League. 3 balls and 2 strikes. And to right field, well hit towards the bullpen and just barely stayed in the park. Alex hustles to second base, and he has another double, his 34th of the year.
And we talked about being ahead of hitters, and here's a 3-2 pitch. He's got to come in there, and Alex Gordon was looking for it. They hit this fastball right on cue, right on the sweet spot of the bat, a little high on the bat. Really just a little bit low trademark, a little bit lower. The ball's probably out of here, but shows you Alex's strength. He's able to hit this ball off the wall, and Markakis plays it well off the wall, and he's still got that strong arm, and Alex just gets into second base ahead of the throw.
So the Royals put the pressure on right away, and depending on what Ben Zobrist has done for Tampa Bay, Alex is tied for the league lead with 34 doubles. And now Melky bunts back to Britton, who dropped the ball, shovels late. So he only has himself to blame for that. First and third, nobody out.
You know, Melky's been doing this quite a bit with a runner on second base, nobody out. And there's a breaking ball coming down, and then he pushed it out. Zach Britton tried to backhand it, closed the glove too soon, and wasn't able to make the play. He's got not a very good bunt, but hit it high on the heel of his glove and wasn't able to recover from that.
It is a sacrifice for Melky Cabrera. And he reaches on the air by Britton. First and third, nobody out, to Billy Butler. Billy with a 3-run home run late in the game last night in the 7th, which turned a 3-2 Royals lead into a 6-2 Royals lead, and that was the final score. Billy has a 9-game hitting streak. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Yeah, Billy's got 13 home runs on the year, and 7 of those home runs are here at Kauffman Stadium. So he does have the power to conquer this stadium when he's swinging well.
One ball, 2 strikes. Billy has driven in 5 in the first 2 against Baltimore. Orioles took game 1 on Tuesday, a disappointing game for the Royals after that winning road trip against Boston and Cleveland, and then lost 8-2 to the Orioles, but bounced back last night 6-2. And now tonight, take the lead in the first inning as Billy drives it over Markakis. So Gordon scores easily. Cabrera goes to third. Butler has a double, and the Royals lead 1-0.
That just gives you an idea of what kind of strength Billy Butler has. He hits this ball like a left-handed pull here, and the ball's away, and he just stays behind it and shows his strength. Markakis didn't really have much time to respond to this line drive, and the ball goes over his head in right field, and Billy gets him an RBI. As Garden comes in to score, and he ends up at second with a double. I mean, that's, a right-handed hitter hit that ball. Unbelievable.
Strong right-hand batter.
Wow.
So Billy's hit in 10 in a row, now 2 in scoring position. And Eric Hosmer helping out Zach Britton by swinging at that pitch. Hosmer last night hitless, but he was on base twice with walks. He had 2 doubles in game 1 on Tuesday night and drove in a run. No balls, 2 strikes. Borderline call coming from home plate umpire Jeff Kellogg.
Well, the Orioles are giving him an opportunity to get a run here. Infield back in the middle, so ground ball to second and short. He's got him an RBI.
Still no balls, 2 strikes. Second time the Royals have faced Zach Britton this year. Britton and Danny Duffy hooked up back on May the 24th. So a 23-year-old lefty and Zach Britton, a 22-year-old lefty and Danny Duffy. And Duffy outpitched Britton. The Orioles ended up winning that game in the 9th inning on a walk-off home run. And Hosmer went way out of the strike zone. And that really helps out Zach Britton. 1 down in the first.
Well, he wants to get this breaking ball down and away, and that's a pitcher's pitch all the way, and Haas really didn't pick it up. He got caught back on his heels, and they ended up reaching for it, but it was too far away.
Jeff Francoeur hitless so far in the first 2 games. 0 for 8. And going back to the end of the Cleveland series, Francoeur is 0 for his last 9. Two balls and no strikes. Francoeur leading the league with 10 sacrifice flies. So he has come through in situations like this. Runner at third, less than 2 outs, looking for a pitch up. Instead, it's a slow roller left side, and Reynolds can't throw him out. So bad luck for Britton. The Royals will take it. Melky comes down from third, and it's 2-0.
You see Vladimir Guerrero hit balls off the ground. Take a look at what Frenchie can do right here. Right? I mean, this is just right off the front of the plate on the ground, and he bounces it up, gets it past Britton, which I think was the key here to him getting an RBI. It goes by the mound, and you see where Reynolds comes over and tries to make an acrobatic play, but Francoeur was able to beat it out and get himself a ribby, as we see Cabrera cross home plate.
So not what Francoeur had in mind, but he comes through anyway with an RBI, and it's a base hit, putting an end to the 0 for 9. And all of a sudden now the league is taking notice of Jeff Francoeur running the bases. He is a stolen base threat with 18, 10 more than his previous career high. Michael Navarro at the plate with runners at first and third. And it's in for a strike from Zach Britton.
Well, I had a chance to talk to him a little bit before the game, and I asked him, all the position he plays, what does he think his favorite position is? And like most good athletes, they'll say shortstop. He said, but I'll play anywhere. It doesn't really matter. I just want to play.
Blocked by Wieters, 1-1. And he will play just about everywhere at AAA Pawtucket for the Red Sox this year. Navarro played everywhere but catcher and first base. And when the Royals were in Boston during the last trip, Navarro started 3 games. One game in left field, giving Carl Crawford a game off. One game at short for Marco Scudero, and one game at third for Kevin Youkilis. Little check swing, slow roller. Reynolds will go to first. So Navarro is out. Interesting that he didn't go to the plate. Would have been a much shorter throw, and Reynolds is talking it over right now with Matt Wieters in front of home plate. So maybe he's questioning that decision, and the Royals get their third run.
Well, a lot of times you need some help. You need someone to let you know, because you're so focused on making this play. And you see Mark Reynolds' head goes right away to first base. He never really considered home plate. So the only way he would is if the catcher or the pitcher, one of those two, are yelling, to go home. So as soon as the ball hits his glove, he's automatically thinking first base, let's make the play. Let's get that one out.
So 3 runs in the first inning against Zach Britton. He's had a terrible time in the first inning now in his last 3 starts. Francoeur at second for Chris Getz. 2-0.
Mark Reynolds got off to a bad start defensively. He made 20 errors in his first 79 games, but really he's only made 1 error in his last 27 games, so he's gotten much better.
Grounded to Hardy. Francoeur tried to screen him. Getz is out. The Royals come up with 3 in the bottom of the first inning. AT&T, the nation's fastest mobile broadband network. By Panera Bread Catering. Order online at PaneraKansas.com. And by Chevy. See your Kansas City area Chevy dealers. Temperature has gone from 107 to 91 down to 85 degrees tonight. And the Royals with 3 runs in the bottom of the first inning. Trying to take 2 out of 3 from the Orioles. Mark Reynolds leads off against Jeff Francis and takes outside. Reynolds has 25 career at-bats against Francis. Francis coming up through the Rockies system. Reynolds coming up through the Diamondback system. So in the same division, they've seen quite a bit of each other. And Reynolds with 10 hits in those 25 at-bats, but the 2 things he's known for the most, home runs and strikeouts. He has no home runs against Francis. And Francis has only struck him out 4 times in 25 at-bats. In the air to right field. Back goes Jeff Francoeur. The ball really carrying tonight, and Francoeur up against a chain link makes the catch. Wow. Very similar to Vladimir Guerrero's fly ball in the center field in the first inning that just continued to carry.
Well, it really sounded well off the bat, and when it got way up there in the air, and they just kept carrying, and Jeff Francoeur ran out of room, but when he turned around, the ball was right there waiting on it. Right up there. That's about as close as you can get right there.
And a curveball is in there to Matt Wieters. 1 out of 7 with a walk. So he's been quiet at the plate in the first 2 games. No balls and 2 strikes. We were talking with Jim Palmer, Hall of Fame pitcher, television analyst of the Orioles, about Matt Wieters before the game. This is the Orioles' first-round pick in 2007. Very similar to Alex Gordon. First-round pick one year, the consensus minor league player of the year the following year. So you can imagine all of those expectations. Here's the Hall of Famer Jim Palmer. And the Orioles were describing Matt Wieters as a switch-hitting Joe Mauer. Man, try living up to that. And it's interesting getting a pitcher's point of view, because he really hasn't done a lot at the plate if you're going to compare him to Mauer. But from the pitcher's point of view, Jim Palmer, he's been very good behind the plate, throwing out runners, blocking balls, catches almost every day. And Francis strikes him out for the second out of the second inning. Coming up tomorrow night, the Tigers are in town for a 3-game series. It's a Fireworks Friday and a Buck Night. So hot dogs, small Pepsi products, and peanuts are just $1 each. And be sure to stay after the game for a great fireworks show presented by Hy-Vee and Pepsi. That's Felipe Paulino for the Royals and Rick Porcello for the Tigers. Two down to Chris Davis. Curveball in for a strike. Kind of a half-hearted swing, 0-2.
Lefties just don't like Jeff Francis' curveball, and when you watch his windup, I mean, he stays close a long time, and he's always able to get that breaking ball to the other side of the plate.
That curveball down and in is stroked to right center, run down by Melky Cabrera. Orioles are down in order against Francis in the second. Bottom of the second inning, and it's time for our Sprint You Call It question. We ask you, what is the most encouraging trend of late for the Royals? Is it Alex Gordon doing in the second half what he did throughout the first half, staying consistent, Billy Butler's increased power. We opened the show talking about that. Luke Hochevar now with 4 straight solid starts in the second half. Or is it Joakim Soria and the way he has bounced back after losing the closer's role for a week? Text 432-432, enter keyword Royals, followed by a space, then A, B, C, or D. And pay attention to the bounce back text message from Sprint with directions on how you can register to win a suite here at Kauffman Stadium for a game for you and 11 guests. 3 hits for Alcides Escobar last night. Down 0-2 against Zach Britton. Also drove in a couple of runs. A 2-run triple in the second inning that put the Royals in front for good. And he goes the other way again, but lines to Markakis, and there's one away. Manny Pena comes to the plate, and so does Joe Goldberg.
Well, Manny Pena, guys, did not get to sleep last night till 3:30 in the morning. Remember, he called his mom before the game yesterday to say that he was getting his first major league start. Well, he ended up video conferencing with his family on the computer. He said there were 55 people in one room that had all been watching the game, and they were all excited, and he couldn't get to bed till 3:30 in the morning. So it was definitely a thrilling night and one that he will always remember. And I also found it interesting talking to Luke Hochevar, and remember Ned Yost had told us that they had pitched or connected together before, but we found out that wasn't the case last night. And Manny Pena had only caught a couple of bullpen sessions in spring training. Luke Hochevar said that he called the full game all by himself, and he did a great job behind the plate. Guys?
All right, thanks, Joel. Pena out on a ground ball to second base. And while we have Joel, let's revisit our Sprint You Call It question. And the most exciting trend of late. Frank, let's begin with you.
Well, Timmy, Billy hit 15 home runs last year, so he's at 13 now, so he's still got a little room to go there. Alex, you always like what he's done, but I think Luke Hochevar, I think his 4 straight solid starts, because I think going forward, he's going to have to be the centerpiece of this starting rotation. And so if he can continue to pitch the way he's pitched, I think going into next season, there'll be a lot of optimism with him on the mound and being like right now, he's like the centerpiece of the starting rotation for next year. So he has to keep improving, and I think he's shown the last 4 starts what he's capable of doing.
Alex Gordon is 2 for 2 for the second straight game. He doubled tonight to begin the game and came around to score. And he's at first with 2 down. Joel, how about you?
Well, you know, it says as of late, right, the recent trend. But Alex Gordon, this has been a trend all year long, and so I don't know if that counts or not, but to me, that's the most encouraging. I mean, I think we thought that Joakim Soria would bounce back. He had a couple of really bad weeks, a few really bad weeks. We've seen power from Billy Butler before. We've seen Luke Hochevar have good stretches. But to me, what Alex Gordon has been able to do all season long, he has stayed healthy. He is hitting .309. I mean, he's a centerpiece of this team for the future if he keeps doing this. So, Ryan, with that said, where are you going?
You know, I'm somewhere in between the two of you. Those are my top 2, but I think I'm going to
here we go
lean in the bigger picture toward Luke Hochevar. I really believe the Royals have enough bullpen, they have enough defense, they have enough offense. Sure, all those can improve, but they have enough of that to be competitive. Now it just comes down to starting pitching. And if Luke Hochevar, who is always going to have to try and live up to being the first overall pick in 06, which is unfair, it wasn't his decision to be the first overall pick. As Melky singles to left, so after 2 outs, the Royals get back-to-back hits. But for my money, the Royals' big leap, if and when it comes, will be a result of good starting pitching.
I agree with that. I mean, he was 6-6 last year, 8-8 already this year. And the last 4 starts have really been encouraging. And I think that we just have to watch and see what he does the rest of the way. But it would help this starting rotation a lot if he continues to improve.
I'm changing my vote if Butler homers here.
It's too late. We already got your final answer. 2 on for Billy Butler. Matt Wieters goes out and gives defensive signals, which is just part of protocol, but I doubt the Royals are going to be running with that bat at the plate. I think the Royals will risk having somebody thrown out on the bases to end the inning with Billy Butler at the plate.
Boy, we've seen the Royals run the third base with 2 outs a lot this year, but Billy's swinging the bat so well. I agree with you, Ryan. If they do it here, that's really going against the odds.
Billy with a 1-2 count in the first inning, double to right field, driving in a run. His 6th RBI of this series.
What makes this at bat pretty tough is that you got Hosmer following Butler, and you know how well are they going to pitch Butler? Are they willing to pitch around him to get the Hosmer since they struck him out the time before? So Billy's in a pretty unique position right now where he could get something to hit and he may get pitched around, even with runners on first and second.
Well, those last 2 pitches were right on top of one another, down and away. So nothing hittable yet. And as the Orioles learned last night, Billy is not one of those hitters that's uncomfortable swinging 3-0. So there is no gimme strike. Billy thought that was inside. 2 balls and 1 strike. 46% agree with Joel. 27% agree with Frank and me. Text 432-432, enter keyword Royals. Billy to right field. Markakis is back, and he runs it down on the warning track. So they pitch to Billy, they get him out, the Royals strand 2. By Kia Motors. To learn more, visit kia.com. The camera of Big Don Miller out in right field inside Rivals Sports Bar. Jeff Francis back to work with a 3-0 lead. And Nolan Reimold, who hit 2 home runs against Francis back in Baltimore in late May, his first major league 2 home run game and his first major league 4 RBI game. We were telling you on Tuesday that Reimold's done quite a bit against the Royals. His first big league hit, his first big league RBI. Francis ahead, 1 ball, 2 strikes. But he steps in tonight, 1 for his last 16. Two balls, 2 strikes. Still 2-2. 2 scoreless innings for Jeff Francis without the benefit of a ground ball out. 2 foul outs and a fly out to the warning track in the first. Another fly out to the warning track in the second inning, as well as a strikeout and a fly out to center. And that's what Francis likes to do. Keep the ball down, get the ground ball outs, and that's his first tonight. Nolan Reimold is 0 for 1. Tonight's another Carsoup.com email the booth night. So go to Carsoup.com/Royals. Once you're there, Carsoup will ask for your zip code. Fill that in. You'll be sent to a different page. And there you can submit your question. Joel Goldberg will be collecting your questions, and he will check in with us in the 5th inning. Down and into Robert Andino. Which sounds like a band, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Frank Sinatra concert tonight with the opening act, Robert Andino.
Nah, that doesn't work.
No?
No.
Three balls and no strikes. Three and one to Robert Andino. Will not be opening for Frank Sinatra. 3 balls, 2 strikes. He is, however, filling in at second base for Brian Roberts. Down with a concussion, and he's been down for a while. Brian Roberts going down in the middle of May. Past Navarro and down into the corner. And with 1 out, Andino is at second base with a double. And now we go back to the top of the order. The Royals and Fox Sports Kansas City will present our 3rd University Day. It's K-State Day at Kauffman Stadium on August 21st. All Wildcats fans are invited to take advantage of special ticket prices. Join us for special pregame activities and more. Go to Royals.com/K-State for more information. Way inside to J.J. Hardy, who fouled out to Manny Pena in the first inning.
When you look at J.J. Hardy's 18 home runs that he has, Ryan, and you go back, his 18 home runs in 2011 are 8 more than Orioles shortstop hit combined over the last 3 years. So they haven't got much offense out of that position at all, and that's probably why he's got the long-term contract.
Signed him to a 3-year contract extension last month. The Minnesota Twins really wanted to hang on to J.J. Hardy, but this was the first year of Joe Mauer's $23 million per year contract, and the Twins had a lot of money locked into players like Mauer and Morneau and Joe Nathan, so they had to let J.J. Hardy go, and he pointed out played well for the Orioles, and they've locked him up. He was Ned Yost, starting shortstop in Milwaukee. So Nick Markakis with Andino at second base, 2 down. And a curveball's in for strike 1.
You can see Francis curveball, and he got in trouble earlier when he just tried to throw 3 in a row and missed 1 auto play and went for an out. But when he locates that curveball on the outer half, it's pretty tough on left-handed hitters.
And stroked into right field. 1 hop to Jeff Francoeur. And Dino around third, but Francoeur gets it to the cutoff man. And the Orioles are on the board. It's 3-1.
So when Francis pitches left-handed hitters, he really likes to get the ball to the other side of the plate, and that changeup stayed right in the middle of the plate down, and Markakis hits a line drive in the right field. When Francis gets it, Francoeur gets it on 1 hop, but And Dino Speed scored very easily on that base hit.
So going back to his last start, Jeff Francis had 8 scoreless innings against Cleveland, 2 tonight, so 10 in a row. Markakis putting the Orioles on the board, and now Adam Jones, who doubled in the first inning, and he was all geared up for a fastball, and Francis threw him a change.
Well placed.
No balls, 2 strikes. You could hear Adam Jones screaming at himself all the way up here. He's had some good swings. He's had some horrible swings.
Well, guessing off speed and get that fastball, and you can't catch up with it. Jeff Francis throws it to the inner half of the plate up, and he just can't get there. He's probably sitting on something off speed that changed up before that made that pitch even more effective.
That strikeout that Luke Hochevar had against him in the 4th inning last night, Manny Pena was barely able to get his glove on it. It was so far down and away.
Yeah, we didn't start our list early enough this year. This would have definitely made it. And that ball bounced even before it got to the batter's box, on the left-hander's batter's box, and they still swung at it. Let's make it up your mind before the pitch is made.
Just missed. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Pointed it out in game 1 that Adam Jones is one of the best hitters in all of baseball with 2 outs. And last night in the first inning with 2 outs, he doubled, eventually scored. Tonight in the first inning with 2 outs, he doubled. And now batting with 2 outs and a runner at first base. Markakis has 9 stolen bases. The Orioles are second from the bottom in stolen bases in the American League. They have 44 stolen bases. The Royals are second in the league. They have 106. And Jones strikes out on a pitch that was not a strike. The Orioles get 1 in the 3rd inning. Rotary Club 13, the 13th oldest Rotary Club in the world, with the motto of service over self. Jerry has long lived by that motto, as apparent by his long list of charitable endeavors. Most notably, Jerry worked to bring a chapter of Big Brothers, Big Sisters to Kansas City in 1964 and served as the chapter's first president. He is in the Buck O'Neill legacy seat at tonight's game with the Royals in front 3-1. Eric Hosmer takes a strike from Zach Britton. Hosmer struck out. Britton got him to chase a slider. Down and away, way down and away. Over the mound, over the bag. Hardy with a quick transfer and throws out Hosmer. One away. Royals getting all three of their runs in the first. And Zach Britton now, in his last 3 starts, has given up 20 runs in the first inning. 20. 14 earned. The 2 unearned runs tonight were the result of his error. Royals with 2 hits but no runs in the second inning. Jeff Francoeur reached with an infield single and had an RBI in the first, and there's a solid base hit to right field. So Francoeur had been 0 for 9, and tonight he's 2 for 2. We hope you'll join us here at Kauffman Stadium on Saturday as we celebrate Armed Forces Day. There will be a special pregame ceremony and flyover honoring our servicemen and women before the Royals take on the Tigers at 6:10. For more information, visit royals.com/Armed Forces Day. So 1 on, 1 out, and now Yamaiko Navarro. Grounded out first time up, but drove in a run. So in 2 games with the Royals, 2 for 4 with a walk, a run scored, and an RBI. Ned Yost shared with the media yesterday that Navarro would get at least 2 starts at third base. Royals trying to give Mike Moustakas both a physical and a mental break. 0-2.
I think young players do need that break every now and then, especially when they've had a lot of success in the minor leagues and they come up and they struggle a little bit. And you don't want them to get so far down that they feel like they can't recover. But we talked to Mike before the game, and he seemed pretty confident that things are going to work out and that he's getting things worked out with Seitzer. And we just have to wait and see what happens once he gets back in there. But those mental breaks, they do pay big dividends for young players.
And Navarro strikes out. He was bending back, thinking it was high and inside. Fox Tracks would agree with that, although it did miss by much. 2 down.
Yeah, come in on him like that, Ryan. But I'm all about, if it's got a piece close to the plate, just try to foul that tough pitch off and don't leave it on the umpire. And that pitch really was on the plate quite a bit, and for him to bend back like that, it just made it a lot easier for the home plate umpire Jeff Kellogg to make that call.
Chris Getz grounded out to short in the first inning. Getz wouldn't be a bad guy to lead off the next inning if Francoeur were to run here. Not going. And it's down and away. And of course the thinking is you got a singles hitter at the plate. So if he's going to drive somebody in, you want a runner in scoring position. If Francoeur is thrown out, well, Getz isn't a bad guy to lead off the next inning.
Well, Zach Britton is pretty quick to the plate, and Matt Wieters throws well. The only advantage Francoeur would have is got a left-handed hitter there, and Wieters may not pick him up going right away.
2 balls and no strikes. Chris Getz did not start the game against Zach Britton back on May the 24th, so his ground out in the first inning, his first at bat against the 23-year-old out of Panorama, California. 3-0. 3-1. Francoeur taking a step back towards first as it's grounded into right field. Francoeur will test Nick Markakis, and the throw is just a little late. So even though his momentum was going the other way when Getz made contact, Francoeur still goes first to third.
We had an opportunity to see the strength of Nick Markakis' arm, but also the base running daring of Jeff Francoeur. He took a step back to the base, didn't even let the ball pass in front of him, and still attempted to go first to third, and that just shows how good a turn he takes at second base. It just makes a nice short turn. Markakis makes a strong throw, but Francoeur beats it just by a couple steps.
So 2 on for Alcides Escobar, who picked up where he left off last night when he lined out to right field in the second inning tonight. So he was out, but the type of swing the Royals have been working on, and all 3 of his hits last night were either up the middle or the other way. Escobar's 2-run triple in the game last night was into the right field corner. I remember when Escobar got hot a few road trips ago during interleague play, and everybody wanted to talk to Kevin Seitzer about the change in approach, and Kevin warned everybody and said he'll go back to his old approach. He'll get a little confident and figure he can go back to what he was doing, and then we're going to have to reel him back in, and lo and behold, that's exactly what's happened. And trying to go the other way, fouls it off the netting of the dugout suite. 0-1.
But that's that old feeling you get when you've had success your way, and all of a sudden it's not working. You start having success, and you start feeling really good. I've got about 10 points here I can burn. Let me go back and see if I can do it my way. You find out that your way is not going to work, so you go back to what does work. And Kevin Seitzer is really, I mean, he's as a hitting coach, right? I think he's had a lot of fun this year. I mean, he's not sitting back and letting his guys hit away. He's really had to work with these guys. He had to work with Alex Gordon Cabrera, you know, and even Francoeur to get him going, and then Chris Getz getting him back on track, and he took Escobar when he was about as low as he could go, and then within a matter of a few days got him turned around, and so everybody seems to be leveling off in an area that they're being consistent in, like in that 250 to 260 range for both Escobar and Getz, and Alex is having a great year and resurrected years of Cabrera and Francoeur. And now he's attempting to do some changes with Mike Moustakas.
In the first 3 months, Escobar was hitting .216, and now June, July, and August hitting .285. And his low point, when you're talking about how low can you go, June the 4th, he was hitting .204. Head in the count, 2 balls and 1 strike with runners at first and third. And Britton taking something off the pitch. Escobar almost corkscrewing himself into the batter's box, 2-2.
Yeah, good changeup. Now this is when you have 2-2. This is when you really slow things down, and all you're trying to do is play pepper to right field. You're letting the pitcher throw the ball, and you just react to it with your hands and not try to overswing.
He pulls it to third. Reynolds gets a nice big hop, and that's the inning. The Royals leave 2 in the third. They lead 3-1. 3-1 lead to the fourth inning, and a look at the wideband internet pitch speeds brought to you by Time Warner Cable. Up to 50 megabits per second of pure online power. Francis has allowed 1 run in 3 innings, and going back to his last start, now 1 run in his last 11 innings. Vladimir Guerrero taking outside, ball 1. Guerrero, and this was the first evidence tonight that the ball is carrying. Guerrero off balance, leaning out over his front foot, hit the ball to the warning track in center field. Not that he doesn't have the power to do that, but it surprised everybody, including Melky Cabrera, who was just able to run it down.
Hey, look at his changeup, and he hits right on top of that changeup and right off the front toe. Oh my goodness, that's what's called hitting around the ball. Pulling it right into the foot.
And now he's looking at that
where were you?
Shin guard that's almost all the way up to his knee. He could catch with that thing on. He's got all that protection, and the one little spot where there's no protection, of course, that's where the foul ball hits his foot.
Oh, that's not a good feeling.
And a slow curveball is stroked into left center field. Alex trying to cut it off deep, but it's up against the screen. And with a sore foot and all, Guerrero's into second base with a leadoff double.
Let's see what Vladimir does right here. He recognizes his curveball early, and he keeps his hands back, and that allows him to really drive through this ball and drive it into left center field. Ball goes all the way through the wall.
And that'll bring up Mark Reynolds, who added further evidence that the ball is carrying tonight. He had a fly ball that drove Jeff Francoeur into the chain link in front of the Orioles bullpen, leading off the second inning, and that did not look like a balanced swing. Reynolds does have 24 home runs, which is 5th in the league. He drove in 5 runs Tuesday night in the Orioles 8-2 win, and then struck out 3 times last night. He has 120 strikeouts this year. That is the second most in the American League. And that's the way to pitch Mark Reynolds, with an uppercut swing, get him to chase heat up in the strike zone, and it's 0-2.
Well, if he'll chase it, I'll go back up there and see what he can do with it. Just throw the next one just a little bit higher.
And they come inside. Pena looked like he was crossed up, and
wow, meaning
he got a pitch he wasn't expecting, and he's going to go out and talk about it with Francis.
Almost like he was expecting a curveball, you know, and the fastball. He's just fortunate he was even able to catch this pitch. The fastball on the inner half, and you can see him fighting it off.
And that's the worst combination there. If you're thinking fastball and you get a curve, that's okay. But if you're thinking curve and you get a fastball, he's lucky he got his glove on it.
Oh, my goodness, yeah. Jeff Kellogg, he can be pretty lucky, too.
Now 2 balls and 2 strikes. Guerrero at second base with nobody out. And Reynolds is still alive. The Orioles don't bring a whole lot to the table on offense. Middle of the pack, if not lower third in the league in most offensive categories, but they do have power. With the 4th most home runs, of course, a lot of that has to do with the ballpark that they play in. But they showed off some power on Tuesday night. 2 home runs in the 9th inning. Reynolds and Chris Davis going deep. As we mentioned earlier, the Orioles have hurt Francis this year with the long ball. Reynolds didn't quite get it. Guerrero back to tag. And he's going to try for third. Here's Alex's throw. And it's just off the bag enough for Guerrero to get his hand on third base.
Boy, Alex got behind this ball and really put a strong throw into Navarro at third base, just a little bit to the outfield side, and this is one of those plays here where Navarro does a good job getting back in here on top of Guerrero. It looks like the left hand got in there. I'd love to see those infielders dive in there when those guys go head first.
Well, Tim Timmons was as close as you can get. He had his nose right in on the play. And now Wieters goes into center field to make it a one-run game. And Matt Wieters, one of the best in the league with runners in scoring position, comes through again. So Guerrero's leadoff double turns into a run.
Yeah, a big hustle play by Guerrero on that fly ball to left field, and there's another changeup out over the plate. And France has been up in this inning a little bit with his curveball especially, but that changeup there is up, and Wieters hits it right back through the middle.
Well, I mentioned it earlier, and it wasn't hurting Francis at the time, but he is not getting his typical ground ball outs. He only has one ground ball out. And that's his game when he's pitching well. The outs coming by way of ground balls and strikeouts. So getting away with leaving the ball up earlier in the game, and we mentioned the fly balls to the warning track, but 7 fly ball outs and only 1 on the ground.
Well, a curveball early in the game had a little more snap to it and got it down, but now it's sort of rolling and just sort of rolling across the plate, not really at that good down angle that it normally has, and that just makes him ineffective against left-handed hitters.
And ahead of Chris Davis, 1 ball, 2 strikes, and Francis can't afford to be ineffective against left-hand hitters. That's his advantage. Righties with a high batting average and hitting for power against him. Francis doesn't give up a lot of home runs, but most of the damage coming from the right side, whereas the lefties have struggled. Davis didn't mean to make contact. It's still 1-2.
A pretty good adjustment so far against Davis in this at bat. He realized the curveball wasn't there. It goes with a changeup to get him a strike, and he got a fastball back inside.
Missed outside. 2-2. And off speed, down and away. Great pitch. Good speed, perfect location. Davis is down on strikes, and Francis has struck out 3.
Well, this is what they call hitting the glove right here. When he stays right there, that's pretty nice, pretty nasty pitch. And this is a changeup to a lefty that you don't see very often. But he's able to get that pitch on the outside corner where the curveball kind of left him in this inning. He went away from it, which was a smart move.
And now Francis gets Nolan Reimold, who had 2 home runs against him back in Baltimore in late May. Francis got him on a ground out in the 3rd inning, and that is the 1 ground ball out for Francis tonight. 1 ball and no strikes. Reimold so far is hitless in the series. And that's through the left side. So he's able to keep the ball down. He was able to get a ground ball, but well placed in between 3rd and short. 2 on with 2 out.
It's the fastball here that really is in the middle of the plate. Raimo's able to get it hit around it and get it in the hole between short and third.
And now Robert Andino, who doubled up the left field line and scored last inning. And Francis missing inside, ball one. Orioles scoreless in the first 2 innings. Now they've scored in each of the last 2. The Royals got all 3 of theirs in the first. And now it's 2-0 on Andino. Good pitch at the knees. 2-1. Second straight inning that Francis has gone over 20 pitches in an inning, and now he gets a big bounce to Escobar, who fumbles and still throws out Andino. So he had to change his target from second base to first, and that's the inning. One inning. We remind you to look for the Miller Lite Taste Greatness moment later in tonight's game. And last night that belonged to Manny Pena in his big league debut. 2 hits, a run score. He was behind the plate for a Royals 6-2 win. He threw out a runner. And as Joel shared with us earlier tonight, he was up till 3:30 in the morning on the computer, visiting with friends and family who stayed up all night to watch the game and then talk to him after the game. Well, kids, this is why you run hard out of the batter's box every time.
Well, Andino's anticipating a force out at second base, and he's not running hard, and he sees that Alcides has to make an adjustment after fumbling the ball, but it was too late to run hard at that point. So
about 3 or 4 steps there where he wasn't going 100%, and it ended up being very close at first.
I mean, with his speed, he should have been able to beat that out, especially after the bobble and so forth. And Escobar threw the ball pretty much flat-footed. Could have been a different inning.
Yeah, now you're getting back to the top of the order, and the base is loaded.
The first thing they tell a player, Ryan, and you heard it before, only thing you can control as a player is being on time and hustling.
Pena grounded out to second. First time up. Alex Gordon behind him, and then Melky Cabrera. Royals with 3 in the first inning against Britain. 2 of those were unearned. And they've had chances in the last 2 innings, but they left 2 on in the second, 2 more in the third, so 5 left on base against Zach Britton in the first 3. Still 1 ball, 2 strikes. And remember, last night we were talking about all the young pitchers that haven't quite been what the Orioles thought they would be this year. Chris Tillman struggling with his control. He's in the minor leagues. Zach Britton with those 2 horrible starts prior to tonight. He spent some time in Double-A. Brad Bergeson, not a rookie, but a young pitcher, has not pitched the way he is capable of. And you add that up, and one of the reasons why the Orioles have the worst ERA in the league. That's a 3rd strikeout for Zach Britton. Coming up on August 6th, Fox Sports Kansas City will broadcast Royals baseball on American Forces Network, and soldiers will watch the game live in Afghanistan. Please show your support by filling Kauffman Stadium with banners and signs. $5 and $10 tickets are available at Royals.com as Alex goes into the right field corner. And foul ball, fan interference perhaps. No, says first base umpire Eric Cooper, but that fan clearly reached over the railing. But Eric Cooper ruling that Markakis would not have had a play.
Well, that's a pretty tough read, and being a left-handed fielder, he's on the side that the baseball's on, so you never know until the play out.
And it really didn't help Markakis in the Orioles' case that he wasn't even reaching for the ball.
Right.
He wasn't even trying to make a play. So Alex singles to right field anyway. He is 3 for 3. Alex, one of the subjects tonight in our Sprint You Call It question. The most encouraging trend of late. 46% going with Alex Gordon. That was Joel's choice. Frank and I went with Luke Kochaver. 27% going there. 23% Billy Butler and his power surge. 4% Joakim Soria and his rebound after struggling earlier this year and then losing the closer's role for a week.
Well, he's been swinging the bat well. They had 3 hits last night also, and that's his 10th 3-hit game of the season. One thing you notice about Alex's swing so far this season, he just gets his body completely out of the way of things this year, and his hands are doing most of the work for him, as it should be.
Melky with a slicer to right. Markakis runs it down with a nice play. Melky 1 out of 3. Alex is back to first base. Coming up on Tuesday, August 16th, Billy Butler will be at Hy-Vee, located off of I-29 and 64th Street. He'll be there from 12:30 to 1:30. And Billy will sign autographs. He'll also distribute free cans of Pepsi Max to the lunch crowd. Pepsi Max and Hy-Vee, proud partners of the Royals and Fox Sports Kansas City. By the way, Alex Gordon is now hitting .310 with 3 hits tonight. So he's added 5 points to his batting average, which is no small accomplishment this late in the year. This is game number 111 for the Royals. After tomorrow's game, the Royals will have just 50 games left. Billy doubled with an RBI in the first inning. 6 RBIs in the 3-game series. And he has a 10-game hitting streak. 1-1. Here's tonight's league leaders, brought to you by your Kansas City area Toyota dealers. DH rankings. Billy with 93 starts as a designated hitter. And has admitted recently that he is just now starting to get used to that role.
Well, I get the designated hitter of the year award, and that'll work for him.
I think the results have a lot to do with that. Chop to the left side, and Hardy will throw out Butler. The Royals are scoreless in the fourth. Jeff Francis with a 1-run lead, and let's get back to Alex Gordon, who is hitting for power with home runs, doubles, second most doubles in the American League, and now with 6 hits in his last 2 games, he's hitting .310.
Well, he's moving on up the right direction right now. I tell you what, you talk about a guy making a transition from one year to the next. This is really almost unbelievable that he's been able to pick it up this fast and hold on to it this long. And when you go back and look at this season, he really hasn't had any noticeable slump. He's just been able to battle through it against right and left-handed pitching, and he continues to, as the old-timers say, continues to impress.
One and one to J.J. Hardy, who is 0 for 2 against Jeff Francis, followed by Nick Markakis and Adam Jones in the 5th inning. Francis has allowed runs in the last 2 innings. Navarro runs out of room, and it's 1-2. Orioles scoreless in the first 2 innings. The Royals got all 3 in the bottom of the first, so it looked like Francis was going to have another big night of run support. Markakis drove in a run in the 3rd. Wieters driving in a run in the 4th for Baltimore. It is 2-2 on J.J. Hardy. Jeff Francis winless in 4 career starts against the Orioles. That's driven to left field. Back goes Alex Gordon, and it's into the bullpen for a line drive home run. Looked more like a golf ball going out to left field than it did a baseball. And J.J. Hardy has tied the game at 3 in the 5th inning.
Let me take a look at this changeup. It's down, but it's in, and J.J. Hardy was able to go down and get the head of the bat to it and wait on him, and he really crushed this ball. This ball on a line over that tall fence in the Royals bullpen. And that's J.J. Hardy's 100th home run.
Both he and Nick Markakis with 99 career home runs when the series started, so Hardy has hit his milestone.
I mean, that's one of those pitches you can truly say was a pitch that was really down, but he hit it like he was looking for it, and then he really got a good pitch for him. And normally that changeup, he wants it to go away from a right-hander, but that one stayed down, and he went down with it and really dug it out.
One and two on Markakis. And that's lined over third and down into the corner. And Markakis is at second base with nobody out. So again, we get back to pitches up in the strike zone from Jeff Francis tonight. It's carsoup.com email the booth night, and time to get some of those emails from Joel.
All right, well, as usual, the steady dose of questions. When is Bubba Starling going to sign? I say get back to us on August 15th, which is the deadline day. When is Johnny Giavotella going to be up? Royals say within the next couple of weeks. But here's one we've never had before from Scott Huff in Lenexa. Do the cameramen have the same assignments every game, or do they rotate to different cameras? Morgan says, uh-huh. So I thought it was just Donnie's, the toughest, or Phil, and so they get to choose. It doesn't work like that, does it?
Well, for Donnie it does. Donnie's usually out in right field, but if you want to move Donnie out of his position, you go right ahead. Yeah, that's right. You tell him, Don. Well, for instance, up here in the booth, Ron Swan, affectionately known as Swanee. He's always up here with us. But that doesn't mean that they can't work other camera positions. There's Swanee, along with the always helpful Johnny on the spot, Doc Carruthers, always there when a guy goes down. There we go.
I like that you said the always helpful and Ryan Miller waved.
That's right. Well, if you weren't with us on Tuesday, the crew had some video of when my back locked up on me back in April. Here we go. Now watch Doc. Stands there. Now I'm in obvious pain. Look at that. I mean, it's just like I got shot in the back. And look at Doc. Now this is a guy with a nickname Doc. Just looking at me, and so is Frank.
I couldn't get past Doc.
Yeah, that's what it was. Oh boy. Now there we go. Thanks, Doc.
He has mentioned he just plays one on TV.
Right. 2-2 on Adam Jones. He doubled in the first inning, and then Francis made him look bad, striking him out with a curveball in the third. Go ahead run at second base with nobody out. Still 2-2. Joel?
Caden Hickle in Manhattan wants to know, is Billy Butler's new home run resurgence a conscious effort being worked upon by Seitzer and Billy? Guys?
Well, he hit 15 last year, and I think it's more or less getting back to how he was swinging when he was swinging well, and I think that the grouping of those home runs was probably more impressive than anything else. The way that he was able to get his pitch and drive it out of the ballpark. But that grouping of home runs, I think 5 in the last 8 games, came mainly because of an adjustment that Billy and Kevin made with Billy's hands.
Hosmer runs into foul territory. Markakis bluffing a tag, and that's the first out. But I think the intention of the mechanical adjustment was to get him to drive the ball more, because Ned Yost, I mean, he came out and said, yeah, Billy can hit 300. However, they'd like to see more extra base hits. They'd like to see more RBIs. And soon after the mechanical adjustment, which Billy took to almost immediately, we started seeing the home runs.
Well, he got his hands up, which allowed him to get down through the ball, which creates backspin, and the backspin is what makes the ball carry. It's kind of like a basketball player shooting a free throw. He doesn't shoot it with a dead ball that's not spinning. It always has a backward spin to it. So when it hits the back rim, it carries better, and then it hits the back rim, it goes down. So that's really the principle of hitting down through the ball, is creating the backspin, which makes the ball carry further.
Frank, is some of that approach too? Ned Yost has talked about Billy always having, or a lot of times having, an 0-2 approach, a defensive approach throughout all counts, and maybe being a little bit more hungry for those extra base hits in counts that are advantageous to him?
Well, Joe, we heard a little bit about that last year. The Royals had a lot of games where they were getting a lot of hits but weren't driving in runs, and so Ned was more or less saying, well, we can be more aggressive in the first 2 strikes of an at-bat. Then you can probably be more productive in terms of driving in runs. So I think it kind of started last year and kind of worked its way into this year. And I think Ned just finally said, look, Billy can do more offensively. Let's take him out of let's not say he was in a 2-strike approach, but let's say the perception was, and they want to get him out of it.
Markakis trying to go up to third. So that was not a veteran base running move. Alcides Escobar was all over it. So instead of a runner in scoring position with 2 outs, it's Guerrero, who doesn't run well at first base, and 2 outs.
Well, you always have to know where that shortstop is when you're on second base. If he's to your right and the ground ball's to your right, you cannot go. You can only go when the ball is to your left or something slow hit directly at you. And Alcides made no hesitation about what he was going to do with that throw.
And now Mark Reynolds, who has flied out twice. Third ball for strike 1.
I'll get you an easy 2-out question from Cale Snipes in Kansas City, Missouri. Why did Frank wear the number 20?
Okay, I'll get to that in a second, Joe. Right here, you look at Navarro getting down in the dirt on that head first tag, and on this one he can even get more involved. He's got the base covered, and I'm kind of liking him already. I'm kind of liking getting down in the dirt. But
you've been preaching that for a long time.
When they're coming head first, there's no reason for you not to get in there with them and get dirty. But Joel, the number 20 came because I was I still am a big fan of Frank Robinson. He was my favorite player. He wore number 20. And my first year here, I wore number 19. Then the next year, 20 became available, and that's the reason I took it.
Who had number 20 your first year?
I don't even think it was even out there. I mean, I don't think anyone had it.
You just took what was given to you.
I was just fortunate. I went from number 48 in spring training to number 19. That felt pretty good.
2 hops to Escobar, and he steps back to get a clean hop, throws out Guerrero. The Orioles tie the game on the J.J. Hardy home run. No, the Major League Baseball All-Star Game is coming to Kansas City next summer. And this week, the only place you can buy official All-Star gear is the Majestic Team Store at Kauffman Stadium. Show off your civic pride with authentic 2012 All-Star Game apparel. And the Majestic Team store opens at noon every day this week, so come on down to Kauffman Stadium and get your All-Star gear beginning tomorrow. Royals with 3 runs in the first inning, and you have to give some credit to Zach Britton for hanging in there. He hasn't given up any runs since. Outside to Eric Hosmer. Hosmer has struck out, grounded out to short. He'll be followed by Jeff Francoeur and Yamaiko Navarro. Royals have left 6 runners on base in the first 4 innings. And it's 2-1. And this is why we say you have to give Zach Britton some credit, looking at his 2 previous starts before tonight, where he didn't even get out of the first inning. And Hosmer with a solid base hit to right field to begin the 5th inning. So on Saturday, 6 earned runs in 1/3 of an inning, and then 7 earned runs in 2/3 of an inning. July the 8th at Boston, and the Royals tagged him for 3 in the first. You'd understand if he wasn't able to recover from that, but he has. And now Eric Hosmer's at first base with nobody out in the 5th. Two hits tonight for Jeff Francoeur, including an RBI with an infield single. And he fouls away the first pitch, 0-1. Francoeur had been 0 for his last 9. And we use the term sometimes a swinging bunt. That's exactly what it was for Francoeur in the first. Just a dribbler to the left side that got past the mound. Perfectly placed. Got a runner in from third. And then a solid base hit to right in the 3rd inning. It's Andino out from second base. Pretty casual, but he's able to make the play, 1 away.
Oh, Andino goes out. He looks for Markakis and sees that he's not going to be there. He's the only one that can catch this one, but the ball comes back on him and catches the ball down below the shoulders, which you don't like to do. But it looked like right away he was looking for help, and he saw Markakis wasn't going to be there. So under control, made the catch.
Now Yamaiko Navarro 0 for 2, but he has an RBI with a ground out in the first inning. No balls, 1 strike. Coming up on Sunday, it's another family fun day Sunday. It's the Royals and the Tigers at 1:10. And the first 8,000 kids age 14 and under will receive a Royals batting helmet presented by Chevrolet. For information on this and all Royals special events, go to royals.com/promotions. My favorite as a kid, batting helmet day. Zach Britton, who has an error tonight, throws low, but handled by Davis at first base. So with 2 outs, Hosmer is up to second, and now Chris Getz. Getz grounded out in the first inning, single to right in the 3rd. No matter what happens tonight, the Orioles will win the season series. 5-3 against the Royals this year, but it's possible the Royals could win more individual series, but the Orioles will win the season series. And that's because of a 3-game sweep in Baltimore in late May. One and one to Getz. Zach Britton has not been pitching deep consistently for the Orioles. About 5 1/3 innings per start and only 87 pitches. He is at 80 pitches at the moment as Getz Hits it on the ground to Davis, and he gets it to Britton on a close play. The inning is over, and the Royals are not able to turn Hosmer's leadoff hit into a run. Thoroughbred Ford. Find the new Ford F-150 you're looking for at thoroughbredford.com. And by the State of Missouri Tobacco Quit Line. Call 1-800-QUIT-NOW. Tied at 3 to the 6th inning. Royals with a 3-0 lead at the end of 1, and now Baltimore has scored 1 run in each of the last 3 innings. And the Royals first, Butler, Francoeur, and Navarro driving in the runs. And now in the last 3 innings, Baltimore getting RBIs from Markakis, Wieters, who bats now, and Hardy. Hardy's home run tied the game in the 5th. And Wieters is down, no balls, 2 strikes. And that's drilled to deep right field. And Francoeur watches it go off the chain link. Francoeur has been running around all night. And Matt Wieters on an 0-2 pitch opens the inning with a double.
Let's see right here, 0-2, a changeup that stays up out over the plate, and that's not a good pitch right there, 0-2. And you see Matt Wieters show the kind of power he has the opposite way. Ball hit right in the center of the fence, gets over Francoeur's head before he can get back there, and he hustles into second base with a double.
The Orioles with 9 hits, 6 extra base hits, and 5 doubles. Jeff Francis with just 4 ground ball outs tonight. As Davis pulls it foul, he is struck out and flied out against Francis. Tomorrow, our world becomes their planet. Rise of the Planet of the Apes.
Can't wait.
And that's up the left field line, and the Orioles are going to take the lead. And it's another extra base hit. The Orioles 7th tonight. So back-to-back doubles. And once again, Francis having his trouble with the Orioles. And his night is coming to an end. And it will be Blake Wood in a Chevy call to the bullpen with a runner at second base and nobody out. inning and opened his start tonight with 2 scoreless innings, but now he's given up a single run in 4 consecutive innings, and the Orioles are in front for the first time. And it's Blake Wood who inherits a runner at second base, nobody out. Will be pitching to Nolan Reimold. 10 hits for the Orioles and 7 extra base hits, 6 doubles. Tonight's copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Kansas City Royals and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Kansas City Royals Baseball Corporation. Ryan Lefevre with Frank White, Joel Goldberg, producer Kevin Schenk, director Steve Kurtenbach, associate producers Al Broughton, Sam Abramson, and the producer of Royals Live is TJ McGinnis. Ball 1 to Nolan Reimold, 1 for 2 against Jeff Francis, and just 2 hits in his last 18 at bats. Strike over the inside, 1-1. Blake Wood just saw his former college teammate Matt Wieters double leading off the inning and coming around to score the go-ahead run. Played together at Georgia Tech. Two balls and 1 strike. Three and 1. And you can imagine what kind of a hitter and a catcher Matt Wieters was in college, to be a first-round draft pick and then the consensus minor league player of the year the next year. But Blake Wood is always quick to point out that Matt Wieters was also the team's closer. He would catch 8 innings, get rid of the gear, and then close out the 9th. And Blake Wood walks Nolan Reimold to put 2 on with nobody out.
Always amazes me in college how those guys that throw hard like Matt Wieters and plays a different position, and all of a sudden you're in the game. So when do they have time to work on their mechanics? You know, it's always wondered about that.
I think that's just get the grip you want and huck it up there as hard as you can. And Dino shortening to bunt and takes ball 1. He doubled and scored in the 3rd inning and grounded out in the 4th. He has 5 sacrifice bunts.
With Hosmer coming down hard, he wants to try to bunt this ball to Navarro. He wants to try to get him to field this ball if possible. And Navarro's got to be careful not to commit too fast.
1-1.
It's set up kind of like a regular bunt play where both corners crash and Blake Wood comes straight down the middle. And I don't know if that was the play they really wanted. You can see right here, Hosmer crashes, Navarro crashes, and Blake Wood comes down the middle. So you want the bunt to go to 3rd, but if Blake Wood can cut it off, and Navarro's got to stay back and read it. If Blake Wood can cut off, he might have a play at 3rd base.
Everybody but Alcides Escobar on the mound, and maybe talking about what bunt play they want to go with. And now Escobar is going to join the conference right as it breaks up. 2 balls and 1 strike. Once again, Hosmer charging in on the right side, and there is the bunt to Navarro, who thought about second base. He'll throw out Andino. So the sacrifice gets Davis to third, Reimold to second, and it is scored 5-4.
Well, Navarro, he's got to read this bunt, and Blake Wood didn't go toward the third base line until a little bit too late there. And so he had no play but to look to second first and then to first base. So when you got him charging like that and Hosmer charging, Hosmer's looking to probably go to third, and the play also can design to go to second base, and you keep the double play in order. But here it's second and third.
And a strike to J.J. Hardy, who tied the game with a home run in the 5th inning, a line drive. Really not much height to it at all, just right over the chain link fence in left field into the Royals bullpen. His 19th home run of the year. Hardy's career high is 26 home runs, and that's popped up. So Blake Wood makes a good pitch in on the hands. Hosmer brings it down, 2 away.
Well, he just ran it in on his hands, a good two-seamer, and you can see where Hardy tried to bring his hands in and get the sweet spot of the bat to this ball, but it beat him to the point, it beat him to the spot, and he popped it up.
And it brings up Nick Markakis, who has 2 hits, doubled his last time up. He drove in a run in the 3rd inning with a single. Talking about guys who can hit and pitch, Nick Markakis was almost exclusively a pitcher in college. Twice he was drafted by the Cincinnati Reds as a pitcher. And man, what an example of a scout with some foresight. As the story goes, 29 teams had Nick Markakis on their draft board as a pitcher, but not the Orioles. And Markakis' first year as a everyday outfielder was in pro ball out of Young Harris College in Georgia. 2 balls and no strikes. And now 3 balls, no strikes. Adam Jones would be next. First hitter that Blake Wood faced, he walked Nolan Reimold, and now on the edge of another walk. And the Royals will load the bases and give Blake Wood a fresh count with Adam Jones. Well, here we go. Adam Jones hitting with 2 outs, and one of the best in the league with 2 outs, right around a .360 batting average. He had a 2-out double in the 1st inning. He is 1 for 3 and bats with the bases loaded, 2 down. The Orioles just took the lead in this inning. And a sinker is low, ball 1. Adam Jones, by the way, 1 for 4 against Blake Wood with a double. One ball, 1 strike. Royals a little concerned about Blake Wood's lack of control, and Lewis Coleman has just got done sprinting to the mound from the bench out in the bullpen and is warming up very quickly. Off of Blake Wood's shoe, he picks it up and on a dive underhands it to Hosmer. And Jones taking his frustration out on his helmet. The Orioles get just one. Blake Wood delivering the pitch, and then a kick save and a beauty. That was only part of the play, knocking it down with his foot and then into a headfirst dive and a toss, and it was the helmet's fault.
Always. This is also a sonic slam inning, and the Royals trail by one. And contested tonight is Angie Pollock from Lawson, Missouri. If the Royals hit a home run this inning, Angie will win $6,500. But if the Royals hit a grand slam out of the park, Angie will win $25,000 from Sonic and the Kansas City Royals.
Now, Cetus Escobar, Manny Pena, and Alex Gordon are scheduled to hit against Zach Britton, who gave up 3 runs in the first inning and now has 4 scoreless innings. He really hasn't cruised by any stretch of the imagination. Royals with 2 hits in the second, 2 hits in the third, and then hits in the 4th and 5th inning. So he's had base runners all night, but the Royals have left 7 on base. Escobar lined to left, but Reimold is right there. He was playing shallow, and that's the second time tonight that Escobar is lined to the outfield. He is 0 for 3. Every Thursday on FoxSportsKansasCity.com, we'll bring you the Farm Report, where Jeffrey Flanagan checks in on the prospects in the Royals farm system. So head to FoxSportsKansasCity.com for the Farm Report. Manny Pena is grounded out and struck out against Zach Britton. Britton hasn't won a game in the big leagues coming up on 2 months. June the 8th, that was 7 starts ago against the A's, and he has just 1 win in his last 13 starts. And pitches here in the bottom of the 6th inning with the lead for the first time. One and one. This is Zach Britton's first year in the big leagues. Drafted in the 3rd round of '06. Orioles persuaded him to sign rather than go to Texas A&M. In 09, he was the Carolina League Pitcher of the Year. And then last year, he was the Orioles Organizational Minor League Pitcher of the Year. Deep left center field, Manny Pena gets it up against the wall with one out and has his second major league double. Tying run in scoring position with one out.
Manny gets him a fastball here, Ryan. It just really gets down through it with a good swing. Ball jumps off his bat right down through it. Good follow through. He splits the outfielders for a double in the left center field. Good start. Good start.
3 out of 7 with a couple of doubles. And it brings up Alex Gordon, who is 3 for 3 against Zach Britton tonight. He is 4 for 4. Ball got to Markakis quickly, so Pena will go to third. Alex now has a career high 135 hits by going 4 for 4. And he has 7 hits in his last 2 games.
I know one thing, when Alex Gordon hits the ball, let's hit. This ball sounded great coming off his bat hit. Just all hands, if the body gets out of the way, just watch his hands come through. I mean, just a very nice swing by Alex Gordon. Right down through the ball, right on the sweet spot. And Dino had no chance to catch that line drive.
It's the 6th time in Alex's career he's had a 4-hit game. And he's had no trouble at all with Zach Britton. He is 6 out of 8 against him. Britton's pitch count is very good. He's right around 90 pitches. So they're going to leave him in there. Remember, we told you last inning, he only goes about 5 1/3 innings per start, and that's where he is right now, 5 1/3. With the tying run at third, 1 out, go ahead run at first, and he'll face Melky Cabrera. Alex back to first in time. A couple of things to look at. Melky is grounded into 7 double plays. And with a runner at third base, we'll see how many wild pitches Zach Britton has. He has 4. Down and away, ball 1.
Yeah, one thing about Melky, right-handed, he prefers the ball down, and he really comes down through the ball well and drives the ball down a little bit better than the ball up from the right side.
Melky with a ground ball, base hit, and the Royals tie the game in the bottom of the 6th. So the Orioles lead doesn't last a full inning. And Zach Britton will not last longer than 5 1/3.
You can see the right-handed, he just goes down through the ball very well. The ball in the inside part of the plate, and he hits a hard ground ball between short and third in the left field. You can see Manny Pena scores on that base hit, tie the ball game.
So Chevy called the ball. On for the Orioles. This will be his 47th appearance. Only 11 walks in 62 innings. And he inherits runners at first and second, one out. Billy Butler coming to the plate. Billy with 7 home runs since the All-Star break. He had 6 in the first half. So let's take a look at our AT&T trivia question for tonight. We're the only other 3 Royals, including Billy Butler, who's always done well in the second half. We're the only other 3 Royals all time with a career batting average over 300 in the second half. Frank?
Well, you have to look at George right off the bat. Willie Wilson. Guys who get a lot of hits.
Billy tonight 1 for 3, RBI double and a run scored in the first inning, and Johnson made him look bad. No balls, 2 strikes.
Yeah, Johnson going to come at it with a fastball, curveball, change. And the fastball 93 and the 97.
Billy is 0 for 6 against this pitcher with 2 strikeouts. Still 0-2. The inning began with Alcides Escobar lining out to left field, and then Manny Pena doubled. Alex Gordon picked up his 4th hit tonight with a single to right, and Melky Cabrera's single got Pena to the plate. And Billy with a base hit into left field. Alex will be waved home, and the throw to the plate is not in time, and the Royals regain the lead.
Very good at bat by Butler. He worked hard and it's at bat, got down in the count and stayed with it. Take a look at that top hand going down through the ball. Hard ground ball in the left field. He really stung that baseball. And Alex did a good job getting a great jump off second base and was able to score on that base hit. Had a good run. Eddie's waving him hard around third base, and he scores the go-ahead run for the Royals.
So a 10-game hitting streak with 19 RBIs along the way. 2 RBIs tonight. Both of his hits have come with him down in the count. So down but not out. His double in the first inning on a 1-2 pitch, and his single in this inning on an 0-2 pitch. Eric Hosmer 1 for 3 with a 5th inning single to right field. Foul tip, 1-2. Starter Zach Britton still on the hook for Melky Cabrera at second base. Royals with 13 hits tonight in less than 6 innings. Hosmer down on strikes for the second time tonight, and that's out number 2 in the 6th. So Billy Butler, who hits 300 in the second half in his career, who are the only other 3 Royals all time with career batting averages over 300 in the second half. I'll add Hal McRae to the list. You said George Brett.
I said George and Willie Wilson.
Carlos Beltran.
Wow. Well, we got one each.
The San Francisco Giants, Carlos Beltran. Strike to Jeff Francoeur. He has 2 hits tonight and an RBI. So the Royals with 3 runs in the first inning, only to watch the Orioles get 1 in the 3rd, 1 in the 4th, 1 in the 5th, 1 in the 6th to take the lead. But Royals right back in the bottom half of the inning with 2 to regain the lead. First and second, 2 out. And it's 1-1. Two balls, 1 strike. Good pitch over the outside, 2-2. Royals were scoreless in 4 straight innings. You could hardly say that they were shut down by Zach Britton. They just couldn't get anybody across home plate. But in those 4 scoreless innings, they had 6 hits. So you figured it was just a matter of time, and they've come through in this inning. And Francoeur, the throw is offline. That's his second infield hit to the left side. So he's got that down tonight. And he has a 3-hit night.
Well, these are the ones you can't explain. The ball's going down. He hits right on top of it. This ball comes up and just barely misses and misses him. And it's all about the legs after this. They're well placed, a lot of high hopper. Now Johnson's got to do a lot to get this throw back to first base, and Francoeur was able to beat it out.
Bases loaded, 2 down. Yumiko Navarro grounds it deep third off of Reynolds' glove, who collides with the umpire. 2-run score, and it's 7-4.
And one thing we say for sure tonight, Ryan, is that ground in front of home plate is solid, hard, and you throw the ball a sinker, Navarro gets on top of it, the top spin goes over Mark Reynolds' head, and Melvin Cabrera and Billy Butler is able to score on the plate.
Now, Navarro really has chopping the ball in front of the plate down, doesn't he, in his 2 games with the Royals?
Well, he really does, and Tim Timmons almost got clipped over there at third base.
It was not a good form tackle. He did have his.
I mean, Reynolds, he got as high as he could. Now, there's a takeout right there.
But you got to wrap the arms. So he didn't wrap the arms, and that's why Timmons was able to avoid the tackle. Did everything else right. I mean, he had his head on the right side. He was using his shoulder and using his legs, but you got to wrap up those arms.
Had one wrap that didn't have a chance to get in there.
2-1 to Chris Getz. He is the 9th Royal to come up in the inning.
Yeah, that's what you call good fortune right there as a hitter. You just, when you get hits like Frank Coors got tonight, and like Navarro got that one right there, those are the ones you just feel good about when it's all said and done, because in the end, those are tough pitches to hit. He got lucky on the bounce, and Reynolds is off balance right here after making that high jump.
So he goes in with the shoulder, got him on the right shoulder. And now gets into right center field, and that is down. Royals will get 2 more in a 6-run 6th inning. The Royals going Roberta Flack in this inning and killing the Orioles softly.
Well, yes, he's got that soft swing. I tell you, he served it out there in the right center field just perfectly between Adam Jones and Nick Markakis, and the Royals able to play 2 more runs. Yeah, Francoeur, and Navarro comes in right behind him.
And now Cetus Escobar has a chance to make the first and the last out of this inning. And Escobar might have the hardest hit ball this inning when he lined out to left field. Roller to the third base side, and Johnson throws it off the dugout sweep, gets to third, he'll hold. And the sky has fallen on the Baltimore Orioles in the bottom of the 6th inning. It's a single for Escobar. Gets to third, Escobar to second on the air by Johnson.
It's really a tough play for a pitcher. Johnson goes over, but he doesn't really have time to set his feet. And when you can't set your feet, it's really a shot in the dark whether or not you're going to make that throw that you're not accustomed to making. And tonight he showed that he's not able to make that throw. And Escobar is able to be safe at first. You see that didn't get the feet set. Ball goes over. Chris Davis is head at first base. Escobar gets a base hit, moves into second base on the throw. I mean, Jim Johnson's got to say, I've made some great pitches in this inning, and I just haven't got anything out of it. But that's baseball.
Now Manny Pena, who started this rally with a 1-out double, scored on a Melky Cabrera base hit to tie the game, and then the Royals went on to score 5 more. And Pena is the 11th man to bat in the inning. And he takes high, ball 1. One ball, one strike. Pena doubled, Gordon singled, Cabrera singled, that scored Pena. Butler singled, that scored Gordon. Then a strikeout, and then 2 infield base hits. An infield single for Francoeur, a ground ball double off of Reynolds' glove that scored 2, and Chris Getz with a bloop single to score 2. Reynolds on a fair ball, and that's in time to end the inning. The Royals get 6 in the 6th and lead by 5. The plate, taking advantage of the hard dirt. And Jeff Francoeur, who leads the Royals in RBIs, tied for the team lead in home runs. second in stolen bases and now going for the team lead in infield base hits. He has 2 tonight. Alex Gordon is 4 for 4. Royals with 6 runs on 8 hits, with 11 batters coming to the plate in the 6th. The Royals have had a 3-0 lead and now a 9-4 lead. And it's Vladimir Guerrero, Mark Reynolds, and Matt Wieters against Blake Wood here in the 7th. Blake Wood in relief of Jeff Francis in the 6th inning. Gave up a walk, a sacrifice bunt. With 2 outs, a second walk. It was intentional and then got out of the inning when a ground ball went off of his foot, and he chased it down and threw out Adam Jones. Gordon calls off Escobar, 1 down. Vladimir Guerrero is 1 for 4. Royals' next homestand will begin on August the 15th, and the Royals will host the New York Yankees and the Boston Red Sox. It'll be the Yankees Monday, August 15th through Wednesday, August 17th. And then the Royals and Red Sox for a 4-game series beginning on August 18th. Those tickets will go fast, as they always do. So you want to get them now at Royals.com or by calling 1-800-6-ROYALS. Mark Reynolds fouls it off of Pena's mask.
Wow.
More of a glancing blow off of the right side of the mask. That's easy for me to say up here.
Got to have a strong neck to be a catcher.
Manny Pena and Blake Wood spending some time this year together at AAA. Pena back there last night for Luke Hochevar. Come to find out, Pena had not caught Hochevar in a game, including spring training. And Hochevar gave up just 1 earned run in 7 1/3 innings. After that, Greg Holland. Pena has caught him this year. 5 innings for Jeff Francis, and now Blake Wood. Look out. 2-2.
It's one of those split fingers that got away, and that's one that looks a lot worse than what it really is. And Mark Reynolds said, wow, I'm glad to get out of the way of it, but it was an off-speed pitch, no harm done. You got to get more on top of it, get it to turn over.
And Reynolds strikes out looking. So he set him up perhaps, even though he didn't mean to with that pitch up and in. That's Blake's first strikeout.
Well, he's still thinking inside, and that's really, that pitch there really was one that Mark Reynolds would want to swing at, but after that pitch up and in, it came back inside again and got it on the inside corner.
So now a couple of guys trying to keep straight faces. College teammates at Georgia Tech. Blake Wood and Matt Wieters. Wieters 2 out of 3, a double, a run scored, and an RBI. He has faced Blake Wood twice before tonight. He has a base hit and a walk. And Blake is ahead 0-2. A lot sharper this inning than he was last inning. Matt Wieters, drafted in the first round by the Orioles in 2007. The year before that, Blake Wood taken in the 3rd round by the Royals. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Well, Blake so far has shown better command of his off-speed pitch than with his fastball at this point. The split figure seems to be the control pitch of choice at this time.
Two and two. Always good to see a pitcher turning in a dirty uniform, isn't it?
Yeah, get on your belly out there. Get in the dirt.
That was a heck of an effort.
That was an outstanding play.
Final out of the 6th inning. Underhand toss to Eric Hosmer at first base in the middle of a headlong dive and sliding into the dirt. Wieters strikes out. That's 2 strikeouts and a 1-2-3 7th for Blake Wood. Missouri Division of Tourism. Welcome to Lake of the Ozarks, spanning over 54,000 acres with 1,100 miles of shoreline. Speedboats, pontoons, fishing boats, and personal watercrafts are available for rent from many of the lake's marinas. The area boasts 16 beautiful golf courses and a shopping scene that is top-notch, with plenty of visitors coming strictly for the area's renowned retailers and their famous outlet malls. Go to visitmo.com to start planning your next Missouri getaway. Some changes defensively for the Orioles. It'll be Blake Davis at second base. Robert Andino, who was at second, moves over to short. So J.J. Hardy is done for the night. And the new pitcher is Michael Gonzalez. Royals getting 6 runs against Zach Britton and 3 runs against Jim Johnson. And the Royals scoring 6 of the 9 runs in the 6th inning. Alex Gordon is 4 for 4. 6th time in his career he's had 4 hits. And he takes a strike from Gonzalez. He is tonight's Miller Lite Taste Greatness moment.
4-hit night for Alex Ryan, a double and 3 singles, and he had a double in the 1st inning, came base hit in the 2nd inning to center field, a base hit in the 4th and in the 6th to right field. Alex had a good night, also had a couple runs scored.
Davis to the bag in front of him, so Alex is out for the first time. Fans still give him a warm ovation as he heads back to the dugout. Melky Cabrera has 2 hits. His single last inning tied the game at 4. Ball 1 inside. Popped up. Wieters to the screen, and it's on the other side. Royals with 9 runs on 17 hits. And up until the 6th inning, it was a frustrating night for the Royals. They did score 3 in the first, but were leaving runners on base in the next 4 innings. They had stranded 7 in the first 5. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Melky but then 6 runs on 8 hits in the bottom of the 6th. And I guess it doesn't matter what the age happens to be. When a father catches a foul ball, he gives it to his son. Melky launches it to left field. Reimold into the corner and makes the catch, leaning up into the padding.
Take a look at this swing by Melky. He got in on him just a little bit, and he hit it down the line, which made it very interesting. But a little bit more on the bat, and that ball is in the seats. Reimold right up against the wall makes the catch.
Billy tonight has extended his hitting streak to 10 games. He has 2 RBIs tonight. A double with the count 1-2 in the first inning, and then a single with an RBI, and the count was 0-2 in that at bat. 2-0 against Gonzalez. Billy has driven in 7 runs in this series. Went with a changeup on 2-0. Not a bad idea with the way Billy is swinging the bat.
You're right about that. A nice pitch, and Mike Gonzalez fastball slotted change. And I don't think he's going to give in to Billy with a fastball.
Andino bobbles, has time, and throws out Butler. It'll be Tim Collins in the top of the 8th. Six outs away on defense from winning this series. Panera takes us around the American League. It was Tampa Bay winning in 12 over Toronto. Texas beating Detroit 5-2. Tigers 4-game lead over Cleveland. Cleveland wins at Boston. So the Indians are 3 games back in the Central. The Yankees have won 6 in a row. They're about to make it 7 in a row, and they'll be in a first place tie with the Red Sox. The White Sox have lost 5 straight and now almost 6 in a row. And it's the Angels in front of the Twins 2-0. Angels 1 game back of Texas in the West. Tim Collins here in the 8th inning. After Jeff Francis went 5, he gave up 4 runs. Blake Wood just turned in 2 scoreless innings. Wood is the pitcher of record. And now Collins pitching to Chris Davis, Nolan Reimold, and Robert Andino. Ball 1 to Chris Davis. He put the Orioles in front with a double in the 6th inning against Jeff Francis and knocked him out of the game. 1 for 3 tonight. Royals with 3 in the 1st inning, and then Baltimore with single runs in the 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th innings to take the lead. But that didn't last very long as the Royals answered in the bottom of the 6th with 6. Hosmer will take it himself, 1 down. So the Royals, if they hang on tonight, in their last 6 series, they would have 5 winning series and 1 split.
You know, Ryan, as we watch Eric Hosmer take that play himself, he does that a lot. I mean, catch the ground ball on the move, makes the play at first base. And I talked to Danny Duffy about that and asked him, since you see him play so much and play with him so much, is it like a false sense of security that you go that direction, but you don't go as hard? And he said you really got to think about running hard when he's over there, because most times he's going to take that play, but you never know that one time you may have to be there. But
and that came up in Cleveland.
It did come up, and that's the reason I went to Danny about it. And he said that he just simply didn't get off the mound. But I can see where Eric Hosmer, you got to really be on your toes with him, because he does take most of those plays himself.
Close play, put out. Nice play by Escobar to get Nolan Reimold. So the Royals still playing hard on defense with a big lead late in the game.
This is a high hopper. Escobar rounds the ball very well and gets off a good accurate throw. And there's no hesitation. It goes from glove to hand, good grip right away, and it throws off. Any hesitation in that grip, in that exchange, then Reimold's safe. But boy, it's nice to have a Eric Hosmer at first base. You don't even have to think about it. Just get it in the general direction. He'll do all the moves over there for you.
Just somewhere in the zip code.
Well, and when you talk to all of them about each other, and he said, my job is to make those guys confident that they can throw any ball over there, and that they got a chance for it to get caught. And they reverse say he gives them confidence that they can throw any pitch over there. I mean, any throw over there, and he can get it caught. So they really are just confident in each other all the way around.
Andino left center field, and it will fall in between 3 Royals and now bounce behind Melky Cabrera, whose throw is high. Collins is backing that up. Second hit for Andino, both doubles.
Well, this ball's not hit very well, but it's hit in a good spot. You got Escobar going back. Alex got a good angle coming from left field, and Melky's coming from center field. So there you got to figure out who's got the best angle on this one. And really, Alex had the best shot at it, but gave a great effort. Ball falls in.
And our first look at Blake Davis, who came on defensively in the bottom of the 7th inning. Drafted by the Orioles in 06 out of Cal State Fullerton. One and one. So J.J. Hardy getting the night off after going 1 for 4 with a home run, his 19th of the year in the 5th inning. And that home run tied the game at 3. And that gets away from Pena, goes up into the netting, and Andino will move up to third. It is a wild pitch on Tim Collins.
You see how good this curveball is from Collins, and you took it Manny Pena right here, Ryan. Now maybe a different approach to catching that would probably been better off. Just trying to block it rather than actually try to catch it. And it might have been a little bit easier to try to block that ball. But when he put that glove down and it goes off the heel of that, the top of that glove, it just had no chance of blocking the ball. So in that case there, you look at he's trying to actually catch it rather than block it.
2 balls, 2 strikes on Davis. And on the ground to Chris Getz. So no harm done. A scoreless 8th inning for Tim Collins.
Orioles at Kauffman Stadium. Joel Goldberg and Jeff Montgomery getting ready for Boulevard Royals Live out at Rivals. When this game is over, we'll talk about the Royals' big 6th inning, 6 runs and 8 hits. Alex Gordon having a career season. We'll break that down. Highlights, reaction from Ned Yost and the players, and we'll take your text questions at 432-432 keyword live. That and much more coming up on Boulevard Royals Live. Ryan?
Well, it's Kevin Gregg, the Orioles closer, getting some work, down by 5 in the bottom of the 8th. 17 save, 4 blown saves for Kevin Gregg. Recently suspended for 4 games after a little dust up with David Ortiz in Boston. On a pitch like that, Ortiz, 2 pitches like that, David Ortiz staring at Gregg, Gregg staring at Ortiz, and then after Ortiz popped up, he was running toward first, and Kevin Gregg said something to him, and Ortiz charged the mound in the middle of a pop-up. That was 2 big bodies, oh boy, throwing haymakers at each other. Andino at short, almost ran into his third baseman, and Hosmer is out. Hosmer 1 for 5 tonight. Kevin Gregg last year with a career high 37 saves for the Toronto Blue Jays. This is his first year with the Orioles. Jeff Francoeur with 3 hits, 2 infield hits, perfectly placed on the third base side, right in between the mound and the line. Another showcase of his wheels tonight.
That's amazing, that just how much reach he has when you go down for a pitch.
Reynolds backhands and throws him out, 2 away. So the Orioles closer getting some work, and it looks like it'll be the same for Joakim Soria in the top of the 9th inning in a non-save situation. Soria last pitch on Sunday in Cleveland, and the Royals had an off day on Monday. Soria didn't pitch Tuesday night or last night. So a tune-up for him, getting ready for a 3-game series with the Detroit Tigers beginning tomorrow night. one to Yamaiko Navarro. Royals are just beginning a stretch of 20 consecutive games without an off day. 3 games with Baltimore, 3 with Detroit, then on the road, 4 at Tampa Bay, 4 at Chicago, and then back home, 3 against New York, 4 against Boston. 3 balls and no strikes on Navarro. Three and one. And a walk with 2 outs. And with everything that's gone wrong for the Orioles tonight on the mound, that's their first walk. They have committed a couple of errors, both by pitchers. Britton in the first inning, Johnson in the 6th. The Royals with 9 runs, 17 hits. Outside to Chris Getz, and Getz has driven in 2 runs. Two out of 4 overall. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Well, they definitely swung the bats well tonight, and a lot of clutch base hits. And really, when you're talking about scoring runs, it's all about the timeliness of the base hits and then making the opposition pay when they make mistakes. So the Royals have been able to use the bats, their legs, base running abilities. And back in the 6th inning, you see right here, Chris Getz dumps one out there in right center field, and that went for 2 runs for him. And so everybody's contributing down the lineup tonight.
2 and 2. Eric Hosmer, who's had a good game on defense tonight, is the only Royal who does not have, Hosmer and Escobar are the only Royals without an RBI or a run scored. So we go to the 9th inning. It'll be Joakim Soria in a 5-run game. Take a look at tonight's Chevrolet play of the game.
Well, Manny Pena continues to swing the bat well. He hits a double back in the 6th inning to keep the inning going for the Royals.
And that started a 6-run rally in the bottom of the 6th, inning in which Manny Pena batted twice And Joakim Soria with a little tune-up. He'll pitch to Nick Markakis, Adam Jones, and Vladimir Guerrero. Markakis lines it to right field, and Frank Coor is there for the out. Markakis is 2 for 4. Jeff Francis, 5 innings, gave up 4 runs. Blake Wood with 2 scoreless innings after that. He's the pitcher of record. Tim Collins has pitched a scoreless 8th, and now Soria in the 9th. Adam Jones with a first inning double, but that's his only hit. He has made the biggest out tonight for the Orioles, and that was with the bases loaded and 2 down in the 6th inning. And his ground ball kicked by Blake Wood, and able to keep it on the infield rather than by him and into center field. And then Blake Wood running down the ground ball, diving and underhanding at the same time to get Jones. And the Orioles in that inning got just 1 run. One and 2. Last time Joakim Soria faced the Orioles, the last guy he faced was Adam Jones, who hit a walk-off home run in the bottom of the 9th inning on May the 24th. A game that was started by Zach Britton and Danny Duffy.
Hey, Shanker. I'm going to go Gordo.
And now Adam Jones has hits in his last 2 at-bats against Joakim Soria. 1 out single in the 9th inning.
Yeah, Joaquin left him up out over the plate, and he was able to pull it in the hole. And see, right, it's a little spinner, like a little curveball he left up out over the plate. And he got it right on the end of the bat, but he got enough of it to get it in the hole in the left field.
Vladimir Guerrero doesn't agree with that call.
Yeah, bottom of the strike zone, over the plate down, and yeah, we've seen Vladimir swinging some pitches even lower than that tonight.
We've seen him hit pitches like that into the water. No balls, 2 strikes. The Royals started the second half in Minnesota, and they lost 3 out of 4. But since then, they've taken 2 out of 3 from Chicago, 2 out of 3 from Tampa Bay. They've split 4 at Boston, and they've taken 2 out of 3 from the Indians, and now trying to make it 2 out of 3 against the Orioles. And bouncing back after a lackluster effort on Tuesday night, following the winning road trip and the off day on Monday, and losing 8-2. Royals winning last night 6-2. And ahead 9-4 in the 9th inning tonight. It's 1 ball and 2 strikes on Guerrero.
Yeah, good adjustment by Manny Pena. He's expecting the pitch to be inside and did a good job reaching back behind him and making this catch.
A ground ball, base hit into right field. Two-hit game for Vladimir Guerrero, who's hit in 8 straight.
As a first baseman, you don't really get a lot of balls hit to you from Vladimir Guerrero that way, but this pitch is off the plate away. He not only reaches this pitch, he hits a shot in the right field as a base hit. Ball was up. That makes a big difference.
Mark Reynolds with 5 RBIs in the game on Tuesday night, driving in 5 of the 8 runs. But he is hitless since, and he has 4 strikeouts.
Man, this is a great effort after trying to catch a high hopper and lost his balance. It's a great effort to try to stay to his feet and keep from tackling Tim Timmons at the same time. He bumped the umpire.
Two and one. Sorry on Saturday blew a save in the Cleveland game, giving up 4 runs in the bottom of the 9th inning. It was his first blown save in 2 months. But he came right back on Sunday afternoon and converted a save as the Royals won the series. Good hard breaking ball, 2 balls and 2 strikes on Reynolds.
That's really kind of buffing him, and he's a fastball hitter, and he really hadn't shown the ability to commit to a breaking ball tonight, and Joaquin Sawyer was able to get that one in for a strike.
Three and two. Frustrating night for the Orioles. So the Royals got 3 in the first and single runs in innings 3 through 6 to take the lead, only to watch the Royals score 6 in the bottom of the 6th. Royals will get an out at second base, second out of the inning. Jones goes to third, and Reynolds is at first. Tomorrow night, the Tigers are in town for a 3-game series. The Tigers lead the Indians by 3 in the Central. Rick Porcello, who's won 11 games, will go up against Felipe Paulino. Tomorrow night is Buck Night and Fireworks Friday. Ivy Royals Live begins at 6:30. The first pitch is at 7:10. Strike to Matt Wieters, who has a 2-hit game. One and one. One and two on Wieters. Almost see that thing coming from I-70. I think that's Joaquin Soria's favorite pitch to close out a game. No save, but he finishes the game. The Royals finish off the series. They win 2 out of 3. A 6-run bottom of the 6th inning. And the Royals win by 5. And big games all around. Alex Gordon had 4 hits, scored a couple of runs. Billy Butler drove in 2. Jeff Francoeur with 3 hits and an RBI. Yamaiko Navarro had 3 RBIs. Chris Getz drove in 2. Blake Wood wins out of the bullpen. The Royals now have won 10 of their last 15 games. So the final score tonight, 9-4 KC. And we'll go down to the field, and here's Joe Goldberg.
All right, Ryan, thank you very much. Joined right now by Alex Gordon, who has his third 4-hit game of the season, 6th of his career. You guys got to Zach Britton in the first inning, and then not a whole lot innings 2 through 5. What changed for you guys offensively in the 6th?
You were just stuck with it. You know, we had a big inning in the first, and he settled down and pitched well from then on. And we were able to get a big 6-run in there after they took the lead. So it was big for our offense to do that.
A couple nights in a row now where the contributions haven't just been one guy. You did have the 4 hits, but top to bottom, it seems like everybody's able to get something going right now.
Oh, yeah, Billy's swinging it well. Hosmer's swinging it, Frenchie, and, up and down the lineup, everyone's doing it. So that's good to see, and hopefully we can keep it rolling against a central opponent and Tigers.
I know that you have mentioned a couple times you've moved into the leadoff role that you're not necessarily a leadoff guy, but you'll go wherever you need to go. How good do things feel right now with you at 1, followed by Melky down through to Frenchie?
Yeah, we pretty much have 2 leadoff hitters, I think, with Melky behind me. If I go up there, swing at the first pitch, Melky does the right job and works the count and is able to get on base somehow. So, me and Melky at the top of the order is pretty good right now.
Great job once again.
All right, thanks.
That is Alex Gordon, a 4-hit night, and his batting average now up to .311. Ryan, back upstairs to you.
And 7 hits now, Frank, in his last 2 games.
Well, he done a great job tonight, Ryan. He just came right out of the chute, swinging the bat well tonight in the first inning with a double, and followed in the second, 4th, and 6th with base hit.
And the Royals finished with 17 hits. The Orioles had 13 hits, but the Royals win by 5. The Royals win the series 9-4, the final score tonight. We'll be right back.